of the Sydney Cricket Ground, requesting an airwork clearance.
Every week they're at it, never daring to let up. 'Cause winning's the only thing that counts when you're playing for the Winfield Cup. That's what the big game's all about. Giving it the best you can. Always being a leader, never bowing to any man. Giving it all you know, giving it your best shot. Making every step a winner, proving what it takes you got. Every week they're at it, giving it their all. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
Sydney's Day of Days, Grand Final Day. Hello and welcome. What a day it's turned out to be. This morning when the sun came up, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. A few clouds have come over since then and it's now quite hazy. Ideal conditions though for playing rugby league, ideal conditions for watching rugby league. Whether you're on the beach, whether you're out on the harbour, whether you're in the backyard having a barbecue, sit back and enjoy the Winfield Cup. Just under an hour from now and it'll kick off. The 1987 football decider, the Winfield Cup, and the fans are already starting to go wild.
Manly. I don't like them, but I think they're playing a bit of football all the year.
Oh, I think Manly's got a chance.
The little green leprechauns are on their way, mate.
Everywhere we go, make the one and all.
If anyone can beat Manly, Raiders can.
And we'll really shake them up when we win the Winfield Cup. 'Cause Manly are the greatest football team.
Manly all the way.
Manly Warringah, of course.
You don't have to be a big man to come down here and beat these Sydney fellas.
I'll check on the chips, my bars, roadside tips. Where the favorite sports is sitting on the fence.
Well, my allegiance to Manly goes back to 1947.
The new fourth, Canberra Raiders.
Oh, Manly to win. Beat Canberra.
There's only one word, Sea Eagles.
Manly! Manly!
I hope Canberra win.
Canberra, I hope.
Manly will win.
The Raiders, obviously. Manly to win.
Raiders. Birds fly, fish swim, and Raiders can win grand finals.
This is my city. This is your city. This is our city now.
Manly 18, Canberra 6.
Sad for Manly, isn't it? But we're on their way. The green machine is coming through.
Raiders! Manly! Raiders! Manly! Raiders! Manly! Raiders!
The Sydney Cricket Ground. It's been the home of rugby league since 1911. Many a day we've all been here for the match of the day. Remember those memorable Saturdays? Well, of course, next year we'll be moving to the new Sydney Football Stadium. So today, irrespective of who wins and who loses, a new chapter will definitely be written into the rugby league history books. It's been an outstanding year. It's been an outstanding 76 years. And I think that today there'll be a tear or two shed when we all tramps out of the old lady for the last time. Well, at least the last time as far as rugby league's concerned.
Souths beat Newtown 23-15, but 2 years later began the most incredible run of club dominance in world football history. St George won 11 on the trot, including the 1963 grand final against Wests. It was at the end of this epic the famous Gladiators photo was taken, Proven and Summons. And of course, it's now the symbol for the Winfield Cup. The 11-year reign also produced the record crowd for a grand final. In 1965, 78,056 crammed. The great Canterbury victory in 1980. Who'll ever forget that incredible Steve Gearon try? The domination of Canterbury and Parramatta through the 80s.
1988 will be the beginning of a new era in rugby league. In early March, St George take on Eastern Suburbs in the very first rugby league match at the new $60 million Sydney Football Stadium. And as a few of the weary stragglers move into the Sydney Cricket Ground for the last time, it gives us a chance to reflect on the 8 clubs that didn't make it into the finals in 1987.
'1987 is a year Western Suburbs will long wish to forget. Last in all 3 grades and last in the club championship. But despite the turmoil and gloom, there is a ray of sunshine at the end of the tunnel. The move to Arana Park has been an undoubted success. A great win over Parramatta, a victory over Balmain which cost the Tigers a spot in the top 3, and an unlucky 28-all draw with Cronulla, the performances which suggest the trip to Campbelltown in future will be more akin to a funeral march than a happy-go-lucky romp in the park.
Cockers pass to Schubert, and Schubert's in!
Penrith has also been surrounded by controversy, with Tim Sheen's announcement midway through the season that 1987 would be his last in the Panthers' den having a devastating effect. A problem which was compounded by the premature announcement that Mark Robinson, David Lydiard, Andrew Fitzhenry, Greg Gibson and Craig Izzard would also be moving on in 1988. There were some highlights, none higher though than the National Panasonic Cup final, in which the youthful, inexperienced Panthers took Balmain all the way to the wire. The Steelers' problems continued in 1987, despite lifting themselves off the bottom of the table. Off-season signings Chris Walsh and Cavill Hugh were injured for most of the year, while representative players Trevor Kissel, Peter Spring and Paul Upfield all finished up in reserve grade. Lack of concentration was perhaps the biggest problem, although they did rise to the occasion to beat the 1986 grand finalists Canterbury and Parramatta in successive home matches in May. The North, it was also a tale of woe. Jones, French, Kiss, Toole, Lorimo, Casey, Doherty, Martin, MacArthur, Conlon and Cannon. Yes, all Bears first graders. But alas for their supporters, through injury, not enough of them were seen in 1987. However, the prospects do look bright for 1988. North picked up 14 out of a possible 16 points over the last 8 weeks, winning their last 5 matches, where the highlights were incredible wins over Manly, Souths and Saints, who they defeated 26-23 after trailing 23-2 at half-time. St George began the season well, drawing 4-all with Manly and beating South 17-12, but then 5 losses in a row destroyed the team's confidence. A mid-season resurgence provided hope, but early second-round losses to Manly and South ended any Final 5 aspirations. the club is now embarking on a major rebuilding campaign. And while many supporters are dreaming of miracles in 1988, new coach Ted Glossop has tempered the optimism by suggesting that the club's foundation must be laid in defence before he considers such titles as the Entertainers, the tag applied to Glossop's great 1980 Canterbury side. At the halfway stage, Cronulla was equal third and the prospects looked good. But an horrific run of injuries and the loss of key players for State of Origin duty cost the Sharks dearly. They lost their last 5 matches to miss the 5 by 4 points. Cronulla's backs on their day could make any team look pedestrian, and the first round win over Parramatta was one of the highlights of the season. The emergence of the club's under-23s and promising stars like Glenn Coleman and Alan Wilson should see further improvement next year.
Wilson will score! Try to Cronulla!
Parramatta, the club which appeared in 5 of the last 6 grand finals, missed the playoffs for only the second time in 13 years. Mick Cronin and Ray Price retired at the end of 1986, but the loss of these two was made worse by the incredibly unlucky run of serious injuries. Key players like Taylor, Groth, Ella, Mayers, Jerd, Bugden, Kenny and Hunt all missed a major part of the year. And despite the emergence of some of the most exciting youngsters in the competition, the Eels couldn't overcome the lack of experience. On the bright side, Peter Sterling proved he's almost immortal, while Bob Lindner moved in as if he'd been born in Westmead Hospital.
Lindner died, and Lindner will score a try, which brings the Eels right back into the game.
Once you retire, son, you're retired for a long time.
1987 will be remembered as the year the Canterbury-Mortimer era finished, and the year in which Warren Ryan decided he'd had enough. Injuries to Nick Potter, David Gillespie and Stephen O'Brien didn't help the Bulldogs, but perhaps the form lapses of Kangaroos Paul Dunn and Steve Folkes, the lack of speed in the outside backs, and the loss of vital games following the City Country matches, in which 10 players from Canterbury were selected, were other major contributing factors towards the Bulldogs' stunning demise.
The ball out wide to Langmack at the line wide open has dropped the pass.
And so last year's grand finalists, Canterbury, Bankstown and Parramatta, bowing out before September. But what of this year's final 5? Manly Warringah. At the middle part of the season, they were way out in front. In fact, when tickets went on sale for this year's grand final, the Sea Eagles had won 12 on the trot. And in fact, they've won 16 of their last 18 matches. Minor premiers in reserve grade, minor premiers in first grade, and of course, club champions. So it's no surprise that the majority of the fans at the Sydney Cricket Ground today come from north of the harbour, and most of them have made the trek across the Sydney harbour to support the Sea Eagles in reserve grade, and of course, the big one, when the Sea Eagles take on the Raiders in first grade. But what are the other clubs that did make it into the final 5 this year in September? Souths, Balmain, Easts, and of course today's teams, Manly and Canberra.
Saturday, the 5th of September, elimination semi-final day. The two teams, South Sydney and Balmain. At the halfway stage of the season, people were talking about Balmain as being the grand finalists and who they'd be playing. As well, with 5 weeks to go, South Sydney were also potential grand finalists. Conlon scored first for the Tigers, but then the first try of the match came South's way through the magic of Phil Blake.
Coleman, the grabber kick into the in-goal area. Elias is there, but I think it's a try. A try to South Sydney. Blake has scored.
Then it was a succession of penalty goals, and first of all, it was the Tigers who got in front. Conlon, in fact, kicked his first 6 in a row, and at one stage, the Tigers were leading 12-8 before it was Ellison's turn to kick 2 in a row and make it 12-all after just 65 minutes.
3 points for South Sydney.
The game breaker, though, was that magic man, Phil Blake.
Shot at field goal. Crowd's gone wild. The referee says it's there.
The final score, South's 15, Balmain 12. And so the the leaders at the halfway stage of this year's minor premiership, Balmain, were the first ones to be driven out of contention in this year's finals race. Sunday, the 6th of September, qualifying semi-final day. The two teams, Eastern Suburbs, they'd been visitors to the Sydney Cricket Ground many times before. But the Canberra Raiders, it was their first ever visit into semi-final football. 7 minutes into the game, and Hugh McGahn could have easily been mistaken for a swan. He's coming down in the in-goal area, Belcher's there, McGahn plucked it out of the air and scored! Big Arthur should be smiling. Canberra, though, quickly came back into the match. First of all, it was Steve Walters, and then it was the big prop, Sam Backer. Jack on his own, back on the inside, it comes away to Steve Walters, and Steve Walters will score under the post, and this should make it 6-all. Good football, and Canberra are back in business, and the hooker is who scored the try. The week before, I should say, against South Sydney. And Baker will score, Baker's in. One could almost call the match tit for tat as David Smith levelled the scores. Out to Smith, and Smith will score. Smith's in. How quickly the game changes. The second half, though, totally belonged to the Eastern Suburbs Roosters. So Eastern Suburbs earned themselves a second bite of the cherry, while the Raiders, time for reflection. Saturday, September the 12th, minor semi-final day. The two teams, the Canberra Raiders, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. The loser bows out for 1987. Souths go in as favourites, but why? Canberra have defeated Souths twice in 1987. And the game turned out to be one continual Canberra blitz. Sullivan's got it and scored! First try to Canberra. A bit lucky, but they're leading 4-0. The grabber kick through. Maven's touch it, it's gone loose. Oh, this could be another Canberra try. Super try. Belcher's scored. It's 10-0. There it is, it's a big kick too. It bounces off the legs of Maven, and Sullivan's gone away to Coyne. Coyne's got support on the inside. Henjack picked that up brilliantly, and Henjack's in for number 3. Got support in O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's over the corner line. Back on the inside, there's a chance here. Gilbert's in under the post. Put away the Barthers. It's all over. Canberra take it back immediately. Getting back with the ball out of the bounce, and this will be a try to back out. The big man's in. Next to the post. Nothing's going right for the Rabbitohs. One South Sydney moment, though, will be long remembered. Brilliant solo try from David Smith. You won't see many better than that. The second half turned out to be another Canberra romp. He's got it away, Henjack, and coming back, O'Sullivan will score under the post. Got a chance, the pass has been knocked down, Kinner's grabbed it up, now Kinner going for the corner, and Kinner will score. Kinner's in, try to Canberra, it's record score and 8 days to prepare for the preliminary final. For South Sydney, only 1988 to consider. Sunday, September the 13th, major semi-final day. The two teams, Manly Warringah and Eastern Suburbs. The prize, straight into the grand final. For Manly, the first appearance in the final series for 1987. For Eastern Suburbs, a battle. Manly fans will remember it well. Both Michael O'Connor and Paul Vaughton had early visits to Disneyland, but strangely enough, both injuries inflicted by their own teammates.
Cleal there seemed to be checking with O'Connor to make sure he was okay to take the kick.
O'Connor, though, recovered to post the first points of the match.
And it's there, 2 points to Manly.
Right on half-time, a scrum win against the head, and Manly scored the first try.
Robson scored the first try of the major semi. David Robson's in. He shaves the grass, and they're leading 6-0.
Then controversy took control.
Danny Shepherd will score almost. I think his momentum's carried him across. The referee scored with a double movement, I think.
A cliffhanger finish was in store when French scored with just 19 minutes to go.
Pass comes away to French, and French will come round and score. French has scored the try. East are back in business, despite the suspicion of a forward pass. Pretty good, it is pretty good, it's there. And so Eastern Suburbs have scored the converted try.
Controversy again, this time against Manly.
Cleal the step down the centre. He's got Hasler in support. Hasler looking for a more support. It's Lyons. Lyons racing for the line. Momentum's carried him across. No! The referee says no try again.
Manly straight through to the grand final. East, well, they still had another chance. And so to preliminary final day, Sunday, September the 20th. Eastern Suburbs had been here before, but for Canberra, it was another day of discovery. This was as far as they'd ever been.
And here come the Raiders. Dean Lenz leads them out. There he is, Big Mal. That left arm very heavily strapped.
It was the Roosters who drew first blood, and it was that little man, Laurie Spina.
And here goes Truella. He's got support. They're racing away here, Spina, and it's the first try of the afternoon. Eastern Suburbs are in under the post. Harper seems fairly happy with that as Laurie Spina scores the opening try.
The Raiders hit back almost immediately through second rower Ashley Gilbert.
Now Gilbert, Ashley Gilbert, Gilbert will score! That came from nothing! And they're in next to the posts!
And the seesaw battle continued until half-time.
Quick hands, it comes away to Belcher. Belcher's got it back towards Meninga. Meninga's there, Meninga's in! Try! Big Mal has scored! The smiles on Johnny Furman's face. It says it all. Brendan Hall goes straight through. It's Hall coming to Meninga. To Belcher, he's got it away. Melrose, has he got the speed? Has he? What? Try! Eastern Suburbs are in. Melrose has scored. And East are back in front. Steve Waters to Coyne, and Coyne's got into the end goal and scored, I think. They rolled him onto his front and he scored.
14 all at half-time, and East were in front again shortly afterwards. Following a Bacco error, Morris scores in the corner.
Melrose still on his own, floats it over the top. Morris is in. Great try. Great football, Tony Melrose.
And just like the first half, Canberra hit back immediately. Raiders leading 20 points to 18, and then they took control. So the Cinderella story continued. The Canberra Raiders, 11th in 1986, this year the chance to take out the Winfield Cup.
So down to just two teams, Manly Warringah and Canberra. And of course the sentimental favourites are Canberra. And many of the Raiders fans have made the trek up to Sydney on the many buses from Friday afternoon. Many of them enjoyed the trots Friday night. And of course there were many of them at the Randwick races yesterday. But now they're well and truly entrenched inside the Sydney Cricket Ground for the big one against Manly Warringah. And of course there's plenty of support for those lower grade sides here today as well. St George and South Sydney and under 23s. And there was a lot of support from out west for Penrith. But of course most of the support from within Sydney has come from north of the harbour. They've made the trek across the harbour bridge and across the harbour, all the way from Manly Warringah. There's many of them here, but there's a lot of them at Manly as well. Here's Peter Wilkins, the Leagues Club.
Thanks very much, David. Just a quiet afternoon, as you can see here down at the Manly Leagues Club. In fact, it was a bit strange to see so many cars heading away from the beach today on such a swelterer, but I can tell you that the Manly Leagues Club is packed, and the rafters are going to shake if they happen to go in, or when they happen to go in and score tries today. Well, as I said, the place is packed. Obviously, you think Manly's going to win. What do you think the score's going to be?
20 points to 12.
20-12?
12.
Yeah, they're going to win. What do you think? What do you think the match is going to bring us?
The match will bring a Manly victory, that's for sure.
And if you had a message for the Manly side, what would it be at this stage?
They're going to kill them.
That'll do.
Are you going to be here for the afternoon?
Yeah.
And the evening?
Yeah.
And tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow I might get a leak.
All right, well, good luck. I'm sure they'll be getting a few more drinks under their belt as the afternoon goes on down here. Well, it's been an adrenaline-charged season for Manly. In fact, in the words of Frank Sinatra, it's been a very good year.
Even before the premiership proper, everybody's enemy, Manly, glamour club from the beach, had that look about them. They tiptoed through their trial matches with authority and class, helped in no small way by the form of new recruit, Michael O'Connor.
That's a brilliant try!
Many reasons motivated Michael's move, but on footballing philosophy...
The fact that Manly also play a good open style of football, the fact that they came up with a good offer, you know, I think just from my own personal point of view, you know, I think it was a good decision.
O'Connor was a plus, particularly as one of Manly's major weapons, Crusher Cleal, hadn't even laced on a boot after breaking his arm on the Kangaroo Tour. He was itching to get back, knowing full well the potential of the 87 outfit.
It's hard to make comparisons with sides, but I think this would be our best chance since 83, I'll put it that way.
It remained to fulfil that premiership potential, and after a first-round draw with St George and 2 comfortable wins, Manly exploded their strike power against Premiers Parramatta.
Park line down the wing. Park will score. What a try!
For coach Bob Fulton, the most encouraging aspect of a 26-4 walloping was the Parramatta scoreline.
Cochran for the line. Cochran will score. Cochran get out of the post.
Well, defence is the key. I mean, you know, in the last 3 out of 4 years, we've outscored every team in the competition. When the final wash-up is there, even last year when we came in fourth, we scored 30 more points than the next closest side. So, you know, attack hasn't been our problem, and we've got 1+ there this year in Michael O'Connor, who wasn't there last year, who gives us another string to our bow, so to speak.
The Sea Eagles had a week's break to savour the win, but were brought solidly back to earth by Canterbury's crunching defence. Alas, for the briefly bumbling beach dwellers, 2 more defeats followed, Souths and then Cronulla. culminating with an expensive expulsion of verbosity from a frustrated Bob Fulton, who didn't quite appreciate some of the decision-making and won the Frown of the Season award as he departed the match.
Des Hasler, that incident, which will probably go down as one of the quotes of the year, I suppose, but nothing I'm too proud of, but something that if it happened again under the same circumstances, being me, I'd probably do the same thing.
The season's major hiccup was uncomfortable to swallow, but the breathing was easier in the following weeks. Manly were relentless in racking up 12 straight wins to rocket into premiership favouritism. They administered some real spankings, none more stinging than Balmain's bashing to the tune of 48 to 14.
Gets a one-handed pass away to Michael O'Connor. Michael O'Connor's going upfield, gets the pass to Davies, and Davis is going to sprint on and score the try.
Yeah, that was one of our best and probably our best game all year.
For you, is it as enjoyable to come off saying that you have kept them almost scoreless while looking at a mountainous scoreline for yourself?
Well, it is, particularly when it comes to watching the video on Tuesday night with Bozo. You can feel a little bit safer, but yeah, I'd say that it is.
Defence is 50% of the game. When you haven't got the ball, you've got to tackle, and when you have got it, you run with it. So it's a situation that we're fully aware of, and one which I think we're doing pretty good at the moment.
In one of the games of the year, Manly disposed of Parramatta, albeit at the death.
Speaking away, Lyons has got support in Davis. Davis is over the halfway. Davis has got it all back on the inside to Shearer, and Shearer will score. Shearer racing away. Shearer will score underneath the post, and that's the game.
What revenge Manly exacted on two of their first round conquerors, 32-2 over Canterbury, 30-8 over Cronulla, with the speed men milking the most out of every opportunity.
I think when I first came down, Manly said that they were looking for a long-term team, and you know, the players have been playing together for a while now, and I think we've got to know each other's game.
If there were any doubters, and a few surfaced after that hat-trick of losses, the 12-match winning sequence left no doubt that this 87 Manly side certainly had the ability to emulate the deeds of their predecessors.
Leading by example he was in 72, 73 and 76. Leading by experience he is in 87, still coaching's top honour, the elusive goal.
Look, the one thing I'd like to stress is that it's a player's game, and all the elation and the good times I had at winning competitions with Manly as a player, I don't think can be duplicated as a coach. And you know, I'll take a back seat if we happen to win them, and they'll be out there doing their thing, and you know, I'll be a blow-in. I think it's a situation of you know, if I'll be very, very pleased for these group of players if they win. And it's mainly because they put a heck of a lot of hard work in this year, and they've gone a fair way so far, but there's that one little hurdle to go.
There were some dazzling skills in the Manly of yesteryear, not exclusive to the backs, and that combination of skill, imagination and power is again riddled through the Manly lineup. Match winners, playmakers, they abound. The ability to change a game isn't just confined to one or two. Most of the side have that quality of imagination in their football.
You go from Vaughton through to Cleal and Gibbs, you look at Kevin Ward, you look at Mel Cochran and Phil Daly. They can all contribute something. If the two front rowers are capable of busting any defence, they're capable of hitting the advantage line and making good cheap ground for us, for the guys behind them to do the job. And when I say behind them, I'm talking about the back three and the back line. So, you know, if you're not going forward up front, you won't go anywhere.
Yes, people talk about the Manly back line, but all the forwards, they've done an outstanding job this year.
Exactly, I agree with you.
The end of the competition proper left the Sea Eagles as runaway minor premiers, despite what appeared to be a leisurely stroll through some of their final matches. It seems, though, that a bit of fine mental tuning is all that's required for 87, with the accelerator pedal just waiting to be pressed back to the floor.
Hasler racing away, under the posts, and it's 30 points to 2.
Support down Brookvale Way is big and brassy. All that's required to put the smiles on their faces is a Manly 87 premiership win.
We're going to kill them easy. You just got to look at my T-shirt on the wall.
I think Manly should win. I hope all the boys win. Go for it.
Yes, indeed, it's been a sensational year for Manly. And look at the strengths in their side, the players, what a combination, and they're certainly going to turn it on today, and this crowd is going to turn it on here if they manage to score a try. There's 2 levels. Upstairs, a huge auditorium will be up there at half-time, and that is packed. And down here, as you can see, quite a gathering. 2 large monitors. The poker machines are jangling at the moment, but I can assure you when the game starts, they'll all be gathering around these monitors and giving the side one large cheer. They didn't have too many moments in the reserve grade. We certainly hope they have a few more in the first grade grand final. Back to you, David. We're looking forward to it.
So there we are, the 2 teams that made it into the grand final for 1987, Canberra and Manly Warringah. Well, back in 1963, it was St George and Western Suburbs, and the 2 men who feature in that famous photograph, Norm Provan and Arthur Summons. It's a day of nostalgia. Would that be one of your best memories of the cricket ground, Norm?
Oh, well, it certainly was one of the best memories. We had another win, of course, at the expense of Arthur's team, but it was very close, as most of our grand finals were. I remember the cricket ground fondly, naturally, with all our victories we had there. We had a lot of defeats as well. I don't think it's a bad thing that we're going to our own ground where it'll be better to watch rugby league, but you can't get away from all the memories. It's got a lot of history attached to this ground, and it'll take a long time to build up that sort of history with the new ground.
And what about you, Arthur? Who's going to win today?
Well, I think Manly are just a bit too strong. They probably have been the performing side of the whole year, and I feel that they have a right to win it. Certainly the sympathy bet would be with Canberra, but Manly have done a tremendous job all year, and I'd like to see it. And also for Bobby Fulton. He's been there 4 times, and to strike one. He's done everything else, so I'd like to see him get a premiership, yeah.
Well, 2 men that we're going to see a lot more of this afternoon, Arthur Summons and Norm Provan. Of course, they're the symbol for the Winfield Cup. Well, what did the other rugby league personalities think when I asked them who was going to win and why?
It's 13 against 13. It's a lot depends on how the players respond to the atmosphere out there. I probably think Manly entitled to be favourites.
I fancy Canberra there. I think their forward pack's a little bit stronger than Manly's, and for that reason alone, I think Canberra will get up.
Do you think that the fact that they've had just so many grand finals in recent weeks might count against them, that?
No, I think they're playing extremely well, and they just seem to be getting better every week. You know, the way they've rolled east and south in the last couple of weeks, they're just playing tremendous football and they're playing well.
Well, a man who played for Manly, coached Manly, can they win it this time?
Oh, I think they will, yes. I admire Canberra's efforts, and they certainly deserve to be there, but I think the class and experience and that little bit of freshness will carry the day for Manly.
I'd lean towards Manly with a bit more pace, you know. I just think Manly, I've got to admit, I think they're a little bit of class above Canberra at this stage, and I think they'll come away winners on grand final day.
Well, Tim Sheens, he's off to Canberra to coach next year. It must be a fairly happy feeling. I dare say you'll think they'll win, but why?
Oh, David, I think watching them for the last 6 weeks or so, they've been on playing tremendous football, and with Big Mal Meninga back, I think that's just the shot in the arm they needed to win it.
Well, David Brooks, Manly or Canberra, who's going to win it?
Well, it could go with the toss of a coin, but I'd put my money on Manly, mainly because they've got players that have played in a lot bigger games than a lot of the Canberra guys, and I think that experience will hold them in good stead.
Well, from all of the celebrities and the coaches, let's go down to Queanbeyan and into the Big Canberra Leagues Club. Here's Peter Longman.
Well, welcome. Absolutely amazing atmosphere here at the Queanbeyan Leagues Club. The crowd, the club absolutely chock-a-block full of Raiders supporters, and certainly all here to watch the game on the big screen at the same time to enjoy a few beers. It's the biggest crowd ever seen in the Queanbeyan Leagues Club so far. People, in fact, started arriving at the club before 9 o'clock this morning. The club's remaining open the whole night. Breakfast is being served at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. There's going to be a few sore heads around Canberra tomorrow morning. Let's have a talk with some of the Raiders supporters. How many will Canberra win by?
Oh, 20 points, mate.
Who do you think will be the game breakers? Who do you think will be the best players for Canberra?
Oh, Backo.
Let's go over here a bit. How many will Canberra win by?
2 points.
Go over here. How many will Canberra win by?
Heaps.
How long have you followed them for? How long have you followed them for now?
Couple of years.
Who's your favourite player?
Meninga.
Let's come over here. How many are Canberra going to win by?
About 50 points.
Who's your favourite player?
Meninga.
Okay, well that's the scene here at the Leagues Club. Let's have a look at the highlights from the Raiders' year.
One huge wave of enthusiasm has swept through the streets of Canberra and Queanbeyan. The national capital dwellers are riding high on the shoulders of their footballing heroes, and support for the babes of the Sydney Premiership is just enormous as they gear up for their first tilt at a grand final.
Yes, and I'll have a stubby appoint the winning margin with anyone on Canberra.
On Canberra?
Yeah, I think they'll win it. I think we will win it.
Yes, yes. We all love the Raiders, but we know they're going to win.
They've got the speed and they've got the ability to do it. So I think there won't be much in it, but with the way the ball bounces will have a lot to do with it.
Give Manly a hiding. I'm sure they'll do it.
Yeah, we see them up and down the main street all the year, and then all of a sudden they take on this larger-than-life perspective, you know. It's great.
The road to Sydney didn't always have grand final signs on it, despite early indicators of talent and flair way above their form of previous years. The season's major hiccup left supporters choking back the disappointment and almost tearing up the betting tickets.
I was quite aware that the pace were there. When I went into tackling, I said, oh, geez, here we go, I'm getting close to this pace. And I grabbed him, and then I started sliding, and I seen the pace was looming, and I said, oh, geez, I've got to do something. And at the same time, I said, oh, I've got to tackle him at the same time, so I kept holding with one arm, and I was sort of sliding towards the pace, and I said, oh, I've got to protect myself. I must have put my arm up or something.
It's just like losing a leg, really, because you've got a top-class player, and you just can't replace them at that quality. I mean, you can always replace them with a personnel, but when you've got a top-class player and you lose him, well, that's definitely detrimental to the team.
Their major strike weapon gone, post-Mal Meninga, required a change of attitude.
We lost a lot of attack. We battled those next 3 weeks. I think we played in some type of order. Was Canterbury, South Sydney and East. And I think we scored about 1 try in those 3 weeks. So we had to make some adjustments.
And those adjustments?
Well, the big thing about it, and I suppose the thing that I've coached on as hard as I've coached on things around here is look, we haven't got Mel playing for us, but you're playing. You've got a Raiders jersey on. Don't look over your shoulder. Don't worry about the other guy. You play the best game you can for the club.
So the double coach approach set about the task of restoring Canberra as a premiership threat. Don Furner, the quiet, affable, behind-the-scenes man, the overseer, the godfather, if you like. Wayne Bennett, the thoughtful, sincere and inspirational motivator.
The way they are, I suppose one of the things is from yourself. If I get around and really tight and find them moody and they feel it when they come in the rooms and that, you know, so I make sure that, well, I got a sense of humour, I don't always show it, but I make sure that, you know, I'm looking pretty relaxed about it myself, and that helps them a lot, I think. Well, I reckon I'm getting about 6 good hours sleep at the moment, but after that, you know, it's a bit tough. I dreamt last week, I think Don scored a try, and it's about 3 a.m. last week from a bomb. And I think I had the president on the wing at one stage. He's about 70-odd.
Your co-coach Wayne Bennett had a dream the other night. He dreamt you scored a try. Did he tell you about that one?
He told me about that, and I said, well, that's what happens when pressure gets you. See, I've got to cool him down a little bit. And I'd like to add that, and the mere fact that I've got a lot of players, a lot of personnel here together to make it a strong club over those years. Probably one of the best choices I've made was to bring Wayne Bennett here, and you know, I'd like to let everybody know that I'm very appreciative of the fact that of all the efforts he put in, with the players. They've responded to the both of us, but I'd like to give a lot of credit to Wayne Bennett.
Through the middle rounds of the competition, the Raiders mixed some heartening wins with some sickening losses. Their defence at times opening up like a yawning chasm.
Hindsight's a good thing. You know, they probably didn't set us back as things turned out, but at the time we knew that we had to really make a lot of improvements to if we were going to be a semi-final threat. And I think we've made those improvements.
What we've really been building on all year was that each individual player's responsible for their own performance on the field, and if they go out and perform to their ability each weekend, well, obviously the team's going to have a great chance of winning.
For many punters and pundits, the Raiders' season restarted with 4 rounds to go. To Manly, a despairing loss. After losing captain Dean Lance, it was must-win from then. But no one anticipated the stampede.
Here goes Kevin Walters. Back it goes to Henjack. Henjack for the line. Henjack's in. A long pass comes out to Belcher. Belcher on his own. Belcher will score. Belcher's in. O'Sullivan will go close. He's got it away to Belcher. He's in. It's come away to Henjack. Out wide. It's floated now to Jackson. Quick hands to Belcher. It goes to Carey. Carey back on the inside. It's Corkery. Steve Walters. Back it goes to brother Kevin. Kevin for the line. Offloads it to Gilbert. And Gilbert will score next to the post. Canberra in.
Well, enthusiasm covers so many areas, doesn't it? And if we're a little bit deficient in some areas, we make up for it with that key word, and that's probably the strength of our side.
There is an inward intensity. There has been all year, I think, for us to have played as well as we have without giving us too many raps. I think we've treated every game as the only game of importance, and that's really been a big plus for us.
The little men, Chris O'Sullivan, the Walters brothers, Ivan Henjack, showed they were big in heart and skill. And the big men took on much vaunted opposition forward packs with heavyweight hungriness.
Todd 3-1, 3-2. Away it goes to Bacco. Bacco will score. Bacco's over.
The ground across the backs, or they'll kick it in the rucks into the...
and now O'Sullivan's gapped them. O'Sullivan's up to the halfway line. O'Sullivan's got Kevin Walters in support. Walters over the quarter line. Sends the pass back to the replacement. Henjack. Henjack for the line.
The Raiders rocketed into the final five as the form team. And now only one hurdle remains for the complete fairy tale.
Then we've got a lot of players that have just come through now and people are starting to notice them. We don't know what heights they can go to, and it's an unknown quantity, if you like, because you get to a grand final, they may raise themselves to an international standard. It's the unknown part that worries everybody when you get to that situation, and so Manly don't know how high we can go. We know how high they can go.
We're just going to go out there and play the best game we possibly can for each other.
There's no feeling in the side that reaching the grand final is enough.
I'll tell you at 4:30 on Sunday about that. Obviously in the back of my mind it's important. I keep bringing it up with the players. We're going to keep working on it to make sure it isn't.
Canberra has already celebrated their side's aggressive charge to the SCG, and there's every indication more of the same green fighting machine champagne supping as planned.
It has to be Canberra. Yeah.
And if you had a message for the side on the weekend, what would it be?
Bring all your dirty clothes in here when you finish playing. No, they will. They'll go real well.
Good to see a bit of free advertising. Absolute pandemonium down here. Hate to see what happens if Canberra do win this grand final. There's going to be bedlam in this capital city. Well, who are you supporting?
What was that you said?
Who are you supporting?
I'm not real sure because St George ain't in there, so I'll support Manly.
What about you? How many men are going to win? Are you a Manly supporter?
Yeah.
Brave coming in here.
Pardon?
Brave coming in here.
Yeah, very.
Canberra by how many?
Canberra, how many points they start? Mate, it'll be a very close game, but if Manly beats them, they won't, but if Manly beats them, they'll beat them by about a point and a half.
So as you can see, it's going to be a very noisy afternoon down here. It's back to you, David, at the SCG.
Thanks very much, Peter Longman, and I think you're going to have an incredible afternoon down there in amongst those Raiders supporters, especially those little men, Henjack and Walters, and of course we see a lot of O'Sullivan start scoring tries. It's going to be an amazing scene, I would have thought, in the Queanbeyan League Club, and of course it'll be equally amazing over there at Manly if Bob Fulton can finally get a coaching premiership, and I think we all know that it'll be lovely to see Don Ferner and Bob Fulton. They both deserve a coaching premiership, and one, alas, we have to feel sad for tonight, but it is going to be an outstanding game of rugby league. Let's have a look though at the scene at the moment down there as you have a look around this incredible scene at the Sydney cricket ground here this afternoon. I really believe I've never seen it so jam-packed. It's certainly not going to be as packed as it was in 1965, but of course since the new grandstands have been built, it is absolutely jam-packed. And look at that, the shot from high up on the helicopter, and you look down on the ground, it's in outstanding condition. Much the same really as the conditions which have prevailed throughout the final series. The Sydney cricket ground, the pitch area was heavily watered this morning and has now dried out. It's very hard in that area, but it's outstanding on the fringes of that area. And as you see now, you'll see all the balloons of both teams getting ready for the two teams to come onto the field. And a special welcome to those throughout the rest of Australia who've just joined us here at the Sydney Cricket Ground for this year's 1987 Winfield Cup decider between Canberra, the Raiders, and of course they're up against the Sea Eagles from Manly Warringah. The earlier games today, St George victorious in under-23s, running out very easy winners by 32 points to 14. And in reserve grade, it was Penrith who were victorious. They defeated Manly Warringah by 11 points to 0. And really a great day as far as Darryl Brayman's concerned. I've got a real soft spot for him, and for him to go off with a grand final winner's medal there with Penrith winning reserve grade. Many people know the sort of tragedy that he's suffered in recent weeks. A lot of us shed a tear for him, and well done Darryl, and well done Graham Murray and the Penrith boys and Tom Berry and the St George boys. Well, the big one, it's the Raiders up against the Sea Eagles. A special welcome today to Eastern Suburbs and New Zealand captain Hugh McGann.
Good afternoon, David.
Well mate, who's going to win?
Well, that's a very hard question to answer. A bit like everyone else, 95% of the people out there will probably saying that Manly will end up winning this game, but with the other 5%, sentimental favourites, Canberra. Very hard for Canberra to get up there, but it's very hard not to take it away from Manly. I'm sure that they'll get up.
Well, there's even a lot of sentimental support from New Zealand, and of course they're mixed too. You've got Darryl Williams on the Manly side and Brent Todd in the Canberra side. What are the Kiwi supporters thinking today?
Well, I'm sure they won't care who wins, as long as both players have a very good game. I certainly hope they have a very good game. There are a lot of supporters over here, and I'm sure that they've been shown out there the type of support, the type of pressure and atmosphere that goes with these types of things, and I'm sure that they're appreciating what's going on. Many people have suggested the reason why Canberra defeated you so convincingly last Sunday in the end was because of that incredibly hard match you had against Manly in the major semi a fortnight ago. To what extent was that true, and to what extent do you think that the fortnight's break will help Manly today? Well, it was a combination of a few things as far as we were concerned. The week off certainly did help Manly, and I'm sure that the week off, if we had won that game, certainly would have done us the world of good. But we were very flat in the game against Canberra. The game before did take it out on us. But as far as Manly's concerned today, I think that they have the fitness, the potential there to win this game. But I can still see them tiring in the last 10-15 minutes. And if the game is still very close then, it's going to be very hard for Manly to keep a side like Canberra out. Okay, well let's go down to the sidelines and find out what the conditions are like down there on the field. It must be incredible. Warren Bolden.
Thanks, David. Well, it certainly is very, very hot down here. It's quite humid as well, and the players are really going to feel it. It's going to be quite exhausting during that second half, as Hugh has suggested. Fitness was always going to play a big part in this game, but Manly, with one game in 4 weeks, have big men like Cleal, Briggs for a starter, then Ward coming back from England. He'll certainly know the difference in the conditions. Looking at the Canberra team, of course, Mal Meninga with only, 2 games in 5 months under his belt. He'll wear down. Bacco and Todd, they're all going to feel it, even Daly, I'd say. He'll know it in the second half because he hasn't played much in the last 2 months. It's very hot.
Well, it must be very hot down there, and the incredible thing about today is that both the sides that had the layoffs, of course, got through and were victorious in the lower grades. Let's have a look at the two teams as they line up. Shortly, they'll be introduced to the big crowd individually. For Manly, Shearer at the back, Ronson and Davis on the wings, O'Connor and Williams in the centres, Lyons at 5'8", Hasler at half, Vaughton at lock, Gibbs and Cleal the second rows, Ward and Daly are the props, Cochran is the hooker, and Bobby Fulton is the coach. Let's have a look at the Raiders lineup. And as you'll see them, Belcher at fullback, Kinner and Corkery on the wings, Jackson and Meninga in the centres, O'Sullivan at 5'8", Ivan Henjack as the halfback, Lance as the lock forward, Coyne and Gilbert the second rowers, Bacco and Todd the big props, and Steve Walters is the hooker, I should say. The coaches Don Ferner and Wayne Bennett, and the chant in the background is becoming quite deafening indeed here at the cricket ground as the Raiders supporters and the Manly supporters start to cheer rather wildly in expectation of the two teams to emerge from their respective dressing rooms onto the Sydney cricket ground for the big one. We're about to go down for the team introductions as you see that quite spectacular toot or tunnel sort of effect of the balloons. Manly in the ladies' stand-in dressing room. Many people regard that as the lucky dressing room. It was the one from which St George came out of 11 times in succession between 56 and 66 to win premierships. South Sydney emerged out of it to also win in ensuing years. So it really has provided a lot of grand final winners. But of course, there's a lot more than luck required when it comes to grand final football. Though, of course, an element of luck could well be the difference, or could well be what decides the issue this afternoon. The bounce of the ball and that little bit of luck is certainly worth quite a few points. We're about to see the introduction to the teams.
Okay, where's the Raiders?
So we've got the ground announcer at the moment seeking the supporters of both clubs in the hill area and in and around the ground. Quite staggeringly, really, the extent of this crowd. It's standing room only in a lot of areas. There's a lot of standing room in and around the bar areas. Mr. Ken Arthurson, the chairman of the Australian Rugby League and chairman of the New South Wales Rugby League, at the microphone. A few boos, of course, when he came to the microphone. Perhaps a little bit unfair, because Ken Arthurson, as many people know, would obviously have a soft spot for Manly. He wouldn't be human if he didn't. He coached them. Of course, he was the club secretary there for so many years. And I think you wouldn't have any soul if you didn't at least think that Ken was entitled a little bit to go for Manly this afternoon. But an incredible atmosphere here now. We're about to see the two teams, well, they're now running a little bit late. They were meant to have been on the ground by 5-3. Notice the groundsman remarking the area out on the cricket pitch, and it's interesting again today, Hugh, that they watered that area very heavily. I'm just wondering, just how hard has that been in recent weeks?
It's been very hard, and I'm sure that these guys will certainly feel the full brunt of it after about 5 or 10 minutes of this game. The pitch was watered earlier in the day and was looking fairly good, but now it's started to dry up, and I'm sure that centre pitch will play a major part in this game.
Let's go down again to Warren Boland. Apparently that wind started to spring up a bit, Warren.
Just a little, David. I was going to say that it isn't helping the heat, the fact that there's no wind, but there is a slight breeze just ruffling the flags, and I believe Manly are going to be running from the northern end of the ground, so it'll be at their backs in the first half, but really it's not that significant. It certainly won't cool them down.
So we're about to see the emergence of the girls carrying the flags, which let's hope we'll eventually see the teams finally emerge from the tunnel. It must be difficult in those tunnels, knowing that you were meant to be out 5 minutes ago. It must be incredibly difficult for a captain and for a coach getting the team all primed up to come out at 5-3, and then, of course, having to wait an extra few minutes.
It certainly is a major job for the captain and the coach to try and keep the awareness in the players. Waiting is the worst part, and when you know that you're going out, and then you've been told 5 minutes more. It's very frustrating, but it certainly is something for the players to work on, and I'm sure that the players on both sides will be feeling very fidgety at the moment, and it's one place that is very, very hard to be in.
Hugh, I was just wondering, having played these two teams in the last couple of weeks, where did you pinpoint their weaknesses? Where did you try to hit them?
Well, with Canberra, we pinpointed their weaknesses in around the ruck area. We tried to bust them close to the line, and we had a fair bit of success with it. But with Manly, it's a very hard place to try and to beat Manly. The only place that we tried to get them was out wide, because we thought that there were a few defensive lapses in around Michael O'Connor and the wingers. But the way that Darryl Williams played against us last week, he was primed up for a big game. He certainly did have that. And I know Canberra will probably feel the brunt of Darryl earlier in the first half.
I'm sure Canberra will tighten up in the middle. They've been working hard on it, but also I'm sure they'll send Mal Meninga at Michael O'Connor a few times.
Well, that's certainly if they are looking to win this game, that's the place where they've got to look at. But
Warren, conversely, don't you think Bob Fulton might have Noel Cleal running at Henjack and O'Sullivan too?
Well, that's quite possible too. We'll see Noel Cleal really revving up as the game goes on, down the blind side and wide at those little men on the edge of the ruck, that's for sure. The thing about Meninga, he's so powerful that he does pull a lot of defenders to him. I remember last week we saw Stevie Morris come in once when really the centres had Meninga man on man, but no one has the confidence man on man. That gives people like Belcher and Jackson that little bit of extra room to run off him.
He is a big man to bring down, but then he's, as Warren said, one of the men who obviously will be feeling the heat out there today.
Well, all the big men certainly will be feeling the heat, and with it out there, I certainly was sweating just standing in the heat. But once these guys start getting running around, it's going to be a very difficult job for them. But they're primed up, they've got their minds on the job, And I'm sure that'll be put in the backs of their minds, but they certainly will be feeling it at half-time.
Well, the fans are starting to get a little bit frustrated, and they're entitled to be, because this is becoming a little bit too prolonged, really. It's now 7 minutes past when the teams were meant to have been announced and out on the field, so the game is going to start probably at least 10 minutes late, and which is obviously not only disheartening for the players, but extremely disheartening for the fans, and I must admit, extremely difficult for the commentators.
It's an amazing feeling when you do run out onto the field, though. The crowd roars and the air just pushes out of your lungs, the excitement the crowd generates, and the players will certainly feel a few early nerves, and they'll be really looking to get their hands on the ball, to make that first tackle, toss the ball around a little bit just before the kickoff, get their hands on it and try and settle down, because when this crowd roars, 50,000 people screaming at you, you know all about it, that you're out in a grand final.
Interesting to note the flags on the far side too there, Warren. We notice all the Winfield girls out there now with the flags, and that breeze certainly from the northern end is favouring the team running from north to south, but then you look at the flags down in front of the hill area and they're quite limp.
And likewise the flags on top of the goalpost, particularly at the northern end, are completely limp. So, I don't know, the wind does swirl around. It's a strange breeze here at the cricket ground, but the major factor is that it isn't all that strong, and that's good because it evens up for both teams. I can't see a strong advantage in the conditions to either side in the first half.
Interesting, of course, this year, in the 2 times that Manly and Canberra have met, down at Seaford, of course, was the day Mal Meninga broke his arm in that very rainy match when Manly defeated Canberra 18-10, and then in the second round controversial match at Brookvale Oval when Dean Lance was sent off and later exonerated, Manly with 7 players out defeated Canberra 20 points to 18.
The attitude of the players must come into play. Canberra go in as the underdogs. They've got nothing to lose in many ways, but they can feel confident due to the momentum they've gained in the last couple of weeks. Manly, on the other hand, everyone's expecting them to win. They have the added pressure of not wanting to let themselves down. They've got Bob Fulton's not so impressive record in grand finals hanging over their heads. They want to do the right thing by him, and they really have some doubt over their combination after not playing regularly for some weeks. But of course what they have to do is just concentrate on the fact of their strength. They have so many brilliant players that they can push aside those worries and come out firing.
There's the big shot, and coming back towards the ground, I believe that some of the advertising signs have to be removed from the ground, and that could well be the reason for this incredible delay, that the fact that some of the advertising that was used in the early entertainment between reserve grade and first grade, that those entertainment signs have to be removed, and that has been the hold-up. But I must admit the people who are trying to remove the signs could probably move a little bit quicker, and that would probably reduce this incredible frustrating period, which is only upsetting everyone at the ground, and no doubt everyone who is waiting for the players to get onto the field and start. Now there you'll notice Donny Ferner. That's Kevin Walters in the centre and Wayne Bennett in the yellow t-shirt, and I dare say the nerves will be fairly twitchy amongst the three of them. That was Don last year, so successful with the Kangaroos. And when also you hark back to his days with Eastern Suburbs, he got them here in 1972 to the grand final, only to go down to Manly Warringah, and the man who cut him to ribbons that day is his opposite number today, Manly's coach, Bobby Fulton. And we're about to finally get the teams introduced. special welcome also to this telecast today from all of the people at the Norfolk Island and some elderly people over there who wrote to me during the week. There's a lot in Tasmania and also the Northern Territory. But one gets the feeling that Manly are about to emerge.
Fullback Dale Shearer. Here comes the Eagles. Shearer in number 1, David Ronston in number 2, Darryl Williams in 3, Michael O'Connor in 4, Stuart Davis in 5, Cliff Lyons in 6, Desi Hasler number 7, the Crusher Noel Cleal number 9, Rod Gibbs 10, Kevin Ward 11, Malcolm Cochran number 12, Phil Daly 13, and the skipper Paul Vaughton, coached of course by Bobby Fulton.
Well, Fulton's the one who's pulled the first of the master strokes. He's decided he's had enough of the frustration of being held back for a complete 10 minutes. He's decided, no, none of this stupidity of introducing them one by one. Get out there and get warmed up and really try and get the psychological advantage. Here come the Raiders.
Number 1, Gary Belcher. Number 2, Chris Kinner. Number 3, Mal Meninga. Number 4, Peter Jackson. In 5, Matthew Corkery. In number 6, Chris O'Sullivan. Number 7, Ivan Henjack. 9, Gary Coyne. Number 10, Ashley Gilbert. Number 11, Big Sam Bacco. Number 12, Steve Walters. Number 13, Brent Todd. And the captain, number 8, Dean Lance. Canberra, of course, coached by Wayne Bennett and Don Ferner.
So there they are, the two teams are on the field. There's the Raiders, the balloons go aloft, and it won't be long before Mick Stone, the referee, will signal the 1987 Winfield Cup Grand Final to commence.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate the great state of New South Wales,
this magnificent day, we're about to see the two teams get ready with Manly defending that northern end, the Bradman or Noble stand end of the ground, and of course Canberra thus defending the southern end, the hill stand end, the Randwick end of the ground in the first half. So the Australian national anthem, and it's being sung by Julie Anton.
Golden soil and well for toil, our home is earth by sea. Our land bound in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's stage, let every stage advance Australia there. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia.
So there we are, Mick Stone, Gary Belcher, Canberra to kick off.
I'm sure these players are glad that all the preliminaries are over and they can get straight back into it.
So there it is, the 1987 Grand Finals underway, and Dale Shearer grabs it, and he's wrapped up on the quarter line. 2 metres in from that member stand touchline. Cochran, Cleal takes it up, his first run of the game. Up goes Daly. One underneath and over the top was Todd. Ashley Gilbert was below. Cochran, blind side. That's Shearer. First kick of the afternoon. Into the open spaces, down towards the quarter line. Belcher's there, gets a good bounce. O'Connor wraps him up around the legs. Good tackling, over the top was Williams. Kinner a dummy half. Jackson, Kinner gets away from Vaughton, but he ran into the crusher and now being driven backwards.
Steve Walters. Todd, first penalty against Manly inside the 5.
That certainly did make a few of the spectators happy.
Well, it's obviously, with the exception of the Manly supporters, a pro-Canberra crowd.
Very pro-Canberra, I'd say. A lot of feeling going into this game, as we can see in the first couple of minutes. Noel Cleal getting involved very early, and I'm sure he's out for a big game. He wants to silence a few critics.
Steve Walters, dummy half, and that's Backo and Sam Backo, his first run of the afternoon. He almost lost that. 30 metres out. Walters, Henjack, O'Sullivan. Now that's Gilbert standing out amongst the backs. Good tackle that time from Lyons. Blindside again. Meninga, his first run of the afternoon, straight through Dorton, but Dorton stuck to him right round his legs. Fourth tackle as Coyne takes it up to the quarter line. He's just 20 metres out from Manly's line. Last tackle, Jackson in a dummy half. Jackson on his own, the little kick, it's come off Borton's leg, and I think you'll find Henjack's got it back, and it's 6 to go. 11 metres out from Manly's line. The pressure right on the Sea Eagles as Todd takes it ahead, and Todd's wrapped up. Lyons missed with that one over the top as Backo charges the line, and Sam Backo's only a metre out from Manly's line. Steve Walters, he almost lost that, and it's a penalty. It's against Backo for not playing it with his foot, and one could probably put that down to nerves.
Certainly nerves. It's something they'll certainly regret later on in this game, but
here he is, he gets up, look at that. If he'd been playing in England, he gets away with it.
I'm sure something like that he would get away with. Kevin Ward would probably get away with a couple of those today.
Backo trying to play the ball quickly, but both teams playing very composed football in the first 6 tackles they've had with the ball. Both Manly looking good in defence and Canberra very organised in attack.
Well, of course, Manly with 11 internationals in it and a lot of grand final experience. They've actually played in 11 grand finals since grand finals were introduced, and they've won 4 of them. Cleal. Well, a few people criticising when he played against East a few weeks ago for not touching the ball in the 26th minute. He's already got himself heavily involved. Shearer's kick straight down Belcher's throat. Belcher to run it back towards the halfway. Warren.
Gary Belcher taking that ball on the full, good positional play. I'm sure both of these fullbacks will be looking to get to the ball on the full. Neither of them likes it particularly bouncing around on the ground.
And now Cochran being penalised. Not allowing him to get straight up and play the ball. In fact, being pushed backwards. So Mick Stone very quickly getting in there, Hugh, and getting on top.
Well, once again, we're going through the preliminaries of a couple of penalties early on. This will settle the players down. A couple of penalties either way, and we'll start to see the game open up.
Cochran round the legs of Todd, just inside Manly's territory. Taken up as Backo. 11 metres Manly's side of halfway is met by the 2 props, Daly and Ward. 11 metres in from the hillside touchline. It's Henjack. Away it comes from O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan decides to go on his own. He's wrapped up by Hasler and Borton. Right in the centre of the cricket pitch. Again, it's Walters. Now that's Jackson. Jackson, oh, he's lost the ball. It's gone loose. Daly can't get it. I think Borton's got it in the end. But that just shows you how awkwardly that ball can bounce in that cricket pitch area. Daly looked, for all intents and purposes, as if he had it wrapped up, and it just bounced away from him.
And a great tackle by Ron Gibbs to pile drive Jackson and knock the ball out of his arms.
And now here's a chance. Davis up over the halfway. Stuart Davis. He comes to Belcher. Belcher wraps him up and he can't get his pass away. Lyons was in support. A great run from Davis. Great defence that time as it comes across again now from Hasler. Now it's with Ward. Ward's inside 1. Can't get his pass back. He's down on the quarter line. Manly on the attack now. It's with Hasler. Now that's Borton. Borton throws the dummy on his own. He's still going. He's only 14 metres away. Last tackle against Manly. It's Cochran. Cochran hoists it. It's coming down just outside the goal line. It's going to be allowed to bounce. Lyons misses it. Now it's taken by Lance, and then it went away. I'm certain Walters was offside when he got that ball from Lance, but only marginally, and he's got away with it. But they allowed that to bounce, and that could have finished up easily being a Manly try.
Certainly, Manly did fall away from that. They certainly didn't have any chases. They kicked to the wrong side, and they paid the penalty by not having enough chases up there and losing possession.
So now Courtney to play the ball. Steve Walters, blindside, Henjack, O'Sullivan, quickly Meninga, good pass away to Jackson. Jackson up to the halfway. It's been picked up on the bounce by Gibbs, but it's going to be a penalty. Player
called out, tackling the player on suspicion. Bobby Fulton there with his little walkie-talkie. Here's Jackson now, the pass back on the inside. You notice O'Sullivan taken out of the play without the ball, and that's what the penalty's for. Phil Daly, the transgressor. Both sides, no doubt, now should be over their nerves.
The atmosphere is absolutely electric out here on the playing field, and the battle of the front rowers early on has been tremendous. They're absolutely smashing into each other, and Jackson is really trying to get involved for Canberra. He's in everything.
Now Canberra run it back towards the halfway, and look at that Manly defence. That swarming sort of defence. That's the sort of defence we saw from both sides in the major semi when Eastern Manly had that incredible 20-minute period without anyone getting on the board. Henjack, O'Sullivan. Short ball away to Gilbert, and Gilbert can't get it back to O'Sullivan. He's very deceptive, Ashley Gilbert. Coyne at dummy half. Meninga, his kick straight down Shearer's throat. Shearer on his own quarter line. Takes on Henjack, and the little man's equal to the task. O'Connor. Oh, look at that. What a tackle over the top from Coyne. Have a look at this again, as Coyne just picked him up. He was pole-driven from front, but over the top. Gibbs. And Gibbs busts him down the centre. Very tough, hard, strong running footballer, Ronnie Gibbs. Former teammate of yours?
Very tough customer, Ronnie Gibbs. He doesn't take much, but he certainly dishes it out, but he cops his foot when he's out.
Now Vorton's kick up towards that quarter line. Good bounce taken by Belcher. Is he going to kick or run? He's deciding to run. Hasler's there and so is Lyons. And these two men, they'll chase all day, especially Hasler. I said it once before, I'd love to have a greyhound like Desi Hasler. I reckon I could put him in at Wentworth Park every week and I wouldn't miss prize money any time. He chases all day. If Brent Todd takes it ahead.
Both sides certainly have set a pace for this game, and if they can maintain this, we're in for a great time.
Now, Todd's knocked that ball on the tackle, and Mick Stone's had to change whistles. The P's obviously gone out of it already. Certainly not from blowing it too hard. He seems to me to be a ref here who allows play to go on.
Very open referee. He'll try and give the advantage as many times as he can, and likes to see a good flowing game. He's a very good referee.
Scrum won by Manly. Lyons blindside, that's Shearer, and Shearer puts the little kick in. Now there's nobody at home. The ball's loose in the in-goal area. Shearer, can he get there first? No. Coyne volleyballs it across the dead ball line, and play will restart with the line drop out. But that is the magic of Dale Shearer. Look at this, and look at the amazing speed from the second rower Coyne. He's done incredibly well here, and the bounce of the ball went Canberra's way because if there had been a leg break instead of an off break, Shearer was in.
Certainly showed a great anticipation for a second rower out of the scrum early, and turned around, recovered, and saved the day for Canberra.
So here we are, coming up to the 10th minute of the first half of the 1987 Winfield Cup decider, and it's still Manly 0, Canberra 0. Ward only 18 metres out though. He plays at Cochrane. Hasler, Lyons, he throws that long pass and Shearer's missed it, but Davis miraculously scooped it up on the half volley. An underrated player. He's only been involved twice today and he's done everything asked of him. Now Hasler. He's lost it. He's got it back. The referee says knock back. He's only 18 metres out still. 11 metres in from the hill stand touchline. Blindside. Cleel on his own. You notice Meninga and Coyne were both there waiting for him. 9 metres out. It's Cochrane at dummy half now. Will he hoist it? He puts the grubber kick. It's too deep.
Another wasted opportunity there for Manly. They had the numbers out wide.
I don't think Bobby would be too happy with that. The idea was there, the execution was poor. I know a lot of people from Taree down here though to cheer on Mal Cochrane this afternoon, the former Taree boy. And what an effect Kevin Ward's having early on. He's the top tackler in the Manly lineup. 7 tackles so far with Hasler and Cochrane each with 6. While Coyne's the top tackler for the Canberra lineup early on with 7 tackles. Coyne. Ward gets through a lot of work. You notice number 11 charging in again that time. A pass to Meninga. Meninga's kick. Down towards the quarter line. It looks pretty good. End over end towards the touchline. Look at it go. Shearer's back there. Somehow that didn't go in the touch. Only the Lord above will ever work that one out. Shearer trying to resist the attempts to bundle him across that touchline. And there's some good defence.
Both teams are playing great grand final football here. The kicking game is spot on. There's not many mistakes with the handling. The defence is so strong in the middle. They just can't make a break, but they're still trying to move the ball around.
Lyons on his own. Borton down the centre. Borton up over the quarter line. Good run from Fatty. Blindside, it comes away to Lyons again. Lyons that feigns the kick, the dummy. He's still going. Tell you what, if he got that ball away the second time to O'Connor, there was some danger that time. Hasler, that long pass comes out now towards Cochrane. Now Gibbs down the centre. Gibbs has lost the ball. Gilbert's got it for Canberra.
Across the area there from Manly, for my money, it should have gone out wide rather than turn it back inside because they had the numbers and they were all coming.
Gibbs, should say Henzak, wrapped up there by Daly. Hod down the centre. Shoulder charge from Ward, very effective. The big Englishman. Now O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan almost down to that quarter line. Walter's a dummy half. Henzak, Jackson, Meninga, the switch of play, sees Belcher finish up with it. Last tackle. Jackson, there's the kick, it's a high one. 18 metres out, they all go high and Cochrane went higher. And he kept his eyes on that, and from the time it got hoisted, he called mine, and what a great piece of football that was. It looks simple, but it's not always easy to execute. A bit reminiscent of you when you took on Canberra a few weeks ago.
Well, the only thing is he didn't come up with the try.
The idea is to keep the eyes on the ball, and he did that well.
Exactly.
Hasler. Shearer. Shearer's kick away from Belcher, and Belcher's going to have a long run to get this. The ball might even beat him across the touchline. It does. Oh, what a kick. Well, that's the fickle finger of fate. We saw that great kick from Meninga, not fine touch at one end of the field, and then Shearer's with a similar sort of kick, and the ball bouncing end over end, and in the end, a bounce of the ball going against Canberra.
He certainly went for that one. It was early in the tackle count. He looked for it, got up there quickly, and the chasers knew that the kick was on. And Manly in a very good attacking position now.
Ball's out Canberra's way, and quickly Henzak goes the blind. Over on that hillside of the field, the far side from our commentary position, which is on the western touchline, high in the Brawongle stand. Todd takes it up. 18 metres out from the goalpost. And there's the early errors. Manly have only made 4, as against Canberra's 10. The scoreboard's the only one that really matters at about 20 to 5 this afternoon. And there, it's still Manly 0, Canberra 0.
Canberra taking it up the middle with the big front row as Todd and Backo, but so far they haven't unloaded any passes.
Ronson collects that kick, which was put in by Meninga. And it's the first time David's touched the ball this afternoon, Ronson. Shearer getting heavily involved.
Very early in the piece, and he's a player who needs to play with confidence. And I'm sure, given any half a break, a player like Shearer will make the most of it.
And now Davis again, and he's got on the outside of Kinner again. But Kinner, to his credit, has come from behind and wrapped him up. But super football. That was a lovely pass from Lyons that gave Davis the chance. But look at this. This is classic winger football. Davis getting on the outside of his man, but good work from Chris Kinner to stick with him and wrap him up.
Desperation tackles. It's tackles like that can win games for you, and one like that certainly does lift the players in the Canberra side.
It's obvious that Lyons is the linchpin in this Manly lineup. He's doing everything early on.
Most definitely, yeah. Every team's got to have a player of his calibre, and Canberra have really got to work hard to try and keep the Lions very quiet, but it's going to be a very, very hard job.
It's a good tackle from Lyons and Williams on Meninga. As Coyne's up to the halfway, back it goes to Lance, and Lance wrapped up by his opposite number, Vorton, just inside Manly's territory. O'Sullivan on his own. O'Sullivan's gone almost straight through. 11 metres Manly side of halfway. Walters, Jackson. What tackle that was. Vorton,
and also O'Connor involved. Last tackle, O'Sullivan it is who puts that kick in. It's a wobbly old one. It might even go out on the full, but Ronson did well to take that and stay in touch. That almost went out on the full, but Ronson showing a lot of confidence. And the youngster showing no signs of nerves whatsoever, David Ronson. And that's him going for a gallop now. Graded at the tender age of just 15, David Ronson.
Certainly the only way to get the nerves out of you is to take it up just like David took then, and we'll certainly see a lot more of him in this game.
23 and a half minutes left in the first half, and it's still 0. Hasler's pass out wide comes to Lyons, and Lyons has got on the outside of Meninga. Lyons coming down to the halfway, still going, and Lyons, he's still beaten them all, but he's overrun his supports as well. He throws the dummy, O'Connor now, Coyle racing down the centre. He's got it away to Hasler, but it's forward. Good decision from Stone. Hasler would have been in, but super decision and super positioning from Mick Stone. He was in it. Look at this. Look where Mick Stone is, and look at the pass. Definitely forward, and a good decision. Otherwise, Manly would have been in under the sticks.
A blinding football from Cliff Lyons. He really is playing well out there.
A player like Cliff Lyons, you just can't afford to give him any type of room to. You've got to go forward and make him play. Canberra stood off, waited to look for his supports, and gave him the options of passing out to the runners.
A penalty against Manly, feet across, says the referee. Interesting thing about this match is that Chris O'Sullivan and Cliff Lyons have been around in Sydney first grade football for quite a number of years. Of course, Lyons with North and with Manly, and O'Sullivan since 1982 with Canberra. They've never played against each other until today.
Well, that's an amazing statistic that two players of their calibre are playing against each other. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of those two going together.
Well, maybe that's the thing that O'Sullivan finding a bit difficult to sort him out early on.
Well, maybe so.
Canberra with it on the halfway line, and there's O'Sullivan now, and there's Gilbert again playing almost in that perennial inside centre position.
I think the heat's taken a major toll on this game already. We can see the Canberra forwards walking with their hands on their hip, and are finding it very difficult.
And look at that tackle from Ronnie Gibbs. Just wrapped up Matthew Courtney and said, come here. Line side, Meninga, the grubber kick, the touch, is a beauty. It's the cool head of Mal Meninga that can really turn this game Canberra's way. Look at this. The option wasn't on to put it high until he found touch on the quarter line.
In previous kicks, they have set it to the air. Haven't come away with it, so I think Mel's taken the charge of hand. We'll just play for position and kick the line.
Manly with it, back towards the quarter line. As I was talking earlier about many of the people who are tuned in and around Australia. I'd just like to say a special hello again to those people at Norfolk Island. They don't get much live over there, but I know there's a lot of them watching there this afternoon, and I hope you're having an entertaining day. Here's Lyons again, and that's Shearer, a combination with Cleel. Cleel up over the halfway. Look at him going, he's like a rampaging bull. What a great tackle from Lance. And he's having a big game early on too, as it comes away and Hasler's knocked it on.
Another wasted opportunity there for Manly. They had the numbers out wide. Cleel had done everything.
There it is.
There it is, knocked on. Cleel had done everything possible to get them in the position they were, and fundamental errors are costing Manly dearly.
Robbie Fulton marking it down, but it was the dummy half ball. There was a bad pass to Hasler, too low.
They're certainly spinning this ball and running it along. Now, what are we going to see here? A penalty. In fact, it's going to be a forward pass. Bob Fulton there must be a little bit happier with that. But they're stretching Canberra quite a lot. And one would think that is eventually going to take its toll.
Well, the pressure is mounting, and someone like, or a team like Canberra will eventually bust, but they're holding up true so far.
Gary Belcher standing up, one off the scrum there with Manly's speed. I wouldn't be surprised if at some stage during the game we see Dale Shearer kick ahead and chase. He has such speed.
And Shearer mightn't do much chasing for a while. It's O'Connor, though, who tries to chip over the top of Belcher. Belcher getting back. I think the ball will win the race. Oh, only just beat both of them across the dead ball line. Touch and go. A short half hit in that one, and Canberra are the ones who come up with the 22-metre tap. Look at that. Only just to get there, that almost bounced back the other way. That almost bounced back the other way, didn't it?
Both players, a tremendous amount of experience. Michael O'Connor to see the gap there and Gary Belcher to get there, and had good judgment just to see the ball over the line.
Kevin Ward and Backo coming together as Coyne on his own.
Makes such a big difference too, the outcome of that with the ball going over the dead ball line. It would have been a goal line dropout if Belcher had touched it. Otherwise, they come back to the 22 tap with possession.
Now Belcher on the quarter line. And there's the kick. Ronson underneath it takes it superbly. And then almost back to the halfway line. No support with him. As you look out onto the field, there's a lot of tired forwards, and this is going to be a penalty against Canberra.
Brisbane in the play the ball area. The markers aren't straight, and it's these types of mistakes that can be costly to any side.
18 and a half minutes left in the first half. The penalties favouring Canberra 4-2. On the scoreboard, though, it's Manly 0, Canberra 0. One gets the feeling that the way Manly are playing, touched by Jackson, will if Manly win the scrum, I suppose there's no difference. But
No.
it is a confidence booster, I suppose, Hugh.
It certainly is to know that Canberra don't have to go back to 10 and defend, but Manly knowing that they get the feed.
There's Dale Shearer. He's still a bit groggy after that incredibly hard tackle he got. He finished up landing on the point of his shoulder on the cricket pitch. Now that's Shearer with the ball now. Tried to get away from Belcher. O'Sullivan helps on the quarter line. Manly on the attack now. Lyons, Vaughton back on the inside. Cochrane in a dummy half. Open side, Hasler. He's got Lyons. The pass comes to Cleel. The flick pass back, it goes to Shearer. And Todd's there, but he's got away from Todd. Back it comes down to O'Connor. And O'Connor's only 10 metres out. Couple of metres in from the Barongal stand touchline. Ronson, it's Hasler. Down the centre comes Daly. Big Phil Daly. And he's held up only a couple of metres out from the Canberra goal line. Cochrane's a dummy half. Hasler, the long pass from Lyons. Lyons on his own decides to put that kick in. Kinner getting back, the sun's in his eyes. He's dropped it, it's loose. Coming across as Gibbs. Meninga's there first and across the touchline. 10 metres out, so the pressure's still going to be on Canberra. And you can see Chris Kinner struggling with that kick because the sun got into his eyes for a moment. Tackled on suspicion. And then the race for the ball, won by Meninga, but probably a good race to lose in the end.
Meninga must have been very close to offside. It must have touched the Manly player as it came back off Kinner.
Into the scrum it goes. Lance could have been penalised quite easily in that scrum. He was out long before the ball got through it. But Manly continuing the pressure as it's Gibbs who takes it ahead. They're right down on the Canberra line. How long can Canberra keep them out? They're all offside out in the centres. They better watch that. They'll get pinged for it shortly. The pass comes back from Hasler. It's Lyons. Lyons has lost it, but Cleel's got it. Knocked back, says the referee. Lyons a dummy half. Away it is now to Vaughton. Vaughton gets it away. Back it goes to Lyons. The pass comes away. It's a silly pass. It's loose. And again, Stuart Davis has to clean it up. He's away from one. Davis back on the inside.
Manly playing with a lot of confidence, but passes like that certainly are going to tell on them, and they just can't afford that.
Here's Cochrane. Cochrane's little kick. It's rebounded off Meninga, but look at that. What a great tackle from Kevin Ward. That's worth the 13,000 miles from England alone. That is the tackle of the match so far. Look at this. I know Meninga was off guard a fraction, but look at this. Ward just says, come here, and that's not easy to do. Ward, 14 tackles so far. But my word, what a tackle that was. And it's going to continue to leave Manly in an attacking position.
Certainly, if any player was to tackle Mal Meninga like that, Kevin Ward's the type of bloke to do it.
It's not easy to do. He's such a big man, Mal.
Well, they're both big men, I'm sure.
Look at Gibbs, what a run. The confidence is building in this Manly side. You can feel it. It's still 0-0, but for how long? As Vaughton takes it ahead. He's 12 metres out from that Canberra line. Cochrane, Hasler, Lyons. He cuts out. Cleela comes to Shearer. Shearer will go close. Good tackle from Belcher. Telling tackle. Now Cleel decides to try and force his way over. They're a metre out. But what a tackle from Belcher. That's two that have saved tries. The pass comes. Lyons picks that up brilliantly. It comes away. Finishes up with Hasler. Hasler. Back it comes to Daly. Daly straightens it up down the centre. It came off a Canberra player and Backo picked it up.
but the referee's going to pick it up and put the scrum down for the knock-on. So the pressure continues to mount on Canberra. Canberra have missed 18 tackles as opposed to Manly's 2. But 2 of the tackles that have been made by Canberra, those 2 by Belcher, have saved certain 4-pointers. Scrum's favouring Manly 5-3, make it 6-3 as the pressure continues. It's Lyons with it. Lyons on the outside. He's going to score. Cliffy Lyons. Yes, he is. Try. Cliffy Lyons is in. First try of the grand final. Manly go wild. So to Gundagai. And he slipped through Chris O'Sullivan like a knife through hot butter. Look at the clubhouse.
Pressure certainly mounted by Manly and deserved to go in after the effort they put in. Canberra just couldn't hold out for that length of time.
Yeah, here it is again. The scrum won now. It's Shearer who got the ball. Cliff Lyons. Now look at this. He gets away from O'Sullivan so easily, then spied the line back on the inside. Pullen and Belcher couldn't stop that one. 4 points.
Canberra have been tackling magnificently. They couldn't hold Manly out. They just had too much possession. And Lyons, they're getting on the outside of O'Sullivan. He missed the tackle. He should have made it. Belcher had no chance coming across in cover defence, caught on the wrong foot.
As you said, Chris O'Sullivan probably didn't know how Cliff Lyons played, and showing there that he hadn't played against him before. He's a very hard man to tackle, and Chris O'Sullivan will know now how to tackle Cliff Lyons.
O'Connor to make it 6-0, moves in, there it is, beautifully struck. It's 2 more points to Manly, 12 and a half minutes left in the first half, and Manly are leading Canberra by 6 points to 0, and it really seemed due only a matter of time before they scored.
It was only a matter of time. Manly had been mounting the pressure through the whole game, and Canberra, to their credit, were holding out, and the defence was tremendous, but it had to give, and it just happened to be that Chris O'Sullivan unluckily missed that tackle.
But the incredible thing about it was, last week when you scored, they hit back immediately, Canberra, and one feels if they don't hit back immediately, their confidence might start to dim.
Well, that's certainly true. They're a side who can attack from defensive positions, and Canberra are a side, as you said, to score straight after being scored against.
Ronson it is who runs it out. What's it like to have those first points on the board? It must really charge you up, though.
It certainly gives you a lot of confidence knowing that you can score tries against teams, and being in front first always makes a difference. So it didn't help with us in the last couple of games, because after we got ahead, Canberra always came back, or Manly came back, and we found it tough going. But for any other side, it certainly is a big confidence booster.
Hasler ties up Belcher 12 metres out from the goalpost, Canberra's end of the field. And a lot of the Canberra players still struggling to get back on side. Look at them. Now this is the second play the ball, and they're still taking their time to get back. They've had to do a lot of tackling so far. 82 tackles as opposed to 77 it is. One feels that they've been doing a lot more tackling than it. Maybe it's just that long sustained period that we're thinking of. Todd takes it ahead. And he's got that pass away, Jackson. Jackson's got Meninga in support. Meninga racing to the quarter line. He's taken beautifully there by Shearer. So both the fullbacks have brought off try-saving tackles. Canberra on the last tackle, 13 metres out. Henjack's little kick. It's dribbled into the in-goal area across the touch-in goal line. And the touch judge pointing back to the centre of the quarter line, and play will restart with the tap kick.
Tremendous tackle by Shearer. Here's the kick we're going through into the corner, and the ball going touch in goal, but great tackle by Shearer on Meninga. He took him high, didn't go around the legs, took him ball and all, cut off any chance of the pass.
Well, the big thing about taking him high and not low, though, Warren, is that he's got legs like tree trunks. I suppose you can take the odds for taking him high.
That's right. It would be a better decision. I really don't think you can hang on to Meninga's legs when he's going flat out.
Cleel.
Well, that's for sure. It shows just how Canberra can come back into this game, and it was just unfortunate for them not to score and open this game up again.
Just under 10 minutes remaining in the first half, as Hasler almost gets it back to halfway. Shearer, the kick again to the open spaces. He's continually putting the ball in between Kinner, who's always back there in support of Belcher. And of course that allows time for the runners such as O'Connor and Davis this time to get up there and affect the tackle.
always good to have good chases inside. That makes a good kick. And a good kick like that was well supported by the runners in the Manly side.
Canberra with the ball. The pass away, it comes to O'Sullivan. Trying to make amends for the missed tackle earlier. He plays it forward. The referee says play on. He's got support, but he can't get it away to Corkery. Just outside the quarter line. Canberra's entered the park. Blindside. It's Todd's pass that finds Meninga. Meninga thought about the pass. Now he got it away from Lance. It goes to Bacco. Bacco from a flat-footed position. He's got through three. Look at Big Sam go. He's over the halfway. Hasler comes across and Hasler does superbly in cover defence. Sam didn't know what was going on. He saw 70 metres of open ground in front of him. Quickly it comes away to Coyne. Now it's with Kinner. Kinner puts the centre kick in. Getting back there. Shearer takes it just outside his goal line. Decides to go for a gallop. Now they've got plenty of support out here, Manly. If they can move it quickly across so the cover defence comes. But they could have really counter-attacked from their own line that time, Manly. Some enterprising football. But I got the feeling that Big Sam saw 60 or 70 metres of open ground in front of him and thought, this shouldn't be where I am.
Well, he's certainly done that in the last couple of games. He should be used to it now. He's made some tremendous runs. He's had a great final series, and it's not surprising to see him doing those types of runs.
Horton, Cleel. He tried to get that pass away. He's kicked it. It's come off Gilbert, and they're going to put the scrum down for the knock-on.
Very unlucky there, Canberra. I don't think there was a knock-on there, but he's down closer.
And here it is. There's the kick. It comes off. Or did it come off Gilbert's hands? I wonder whether he did or not. Might be an optical illusion, might not. Not conclusive, but the referee's a lot closer to it than us.
Exactly.
Certainly come out the same tunnel, but it's enough. Hasler's got it. And look at those forwards taking forever to get off the ground. It just exemplifies not only how hot it is, but how hard a game it's been so far, because there's been a lot of running. And now look at him go again. Lyons has cut them to ribbons again. He's over the quarter line. He's got support on the inside. Does he need it? Oh, O'Connor's knocked it on. They tried to do it with too much fancy footwork. Lyons might have scored himself if he kept going. Isn't he having a blinder?
Lyons is having a blinder. The break was initially made when he threw the dummy to O'Connor. He made the break downfield, and then this time he went to pass it to him. O'Connor couldn't handle it.
I thought Michael O'Connor might have thought Cliff was going on his own and wasn't expecting the pass back inside. But tremendous work by Cliff Lyons. He's having a top game, and certainly he's just cutting Canberra to ribbons.
Henjack from dummy half. Horton the tackler. Belcher runs it up. Stands. Can't get the pass away.
Certainly no support for Canberra. They need the hard yards here. And you can't have your fullback taking it out all the time. The forwards have got to start doing a lot more work. They need to be running in packs.
I think Paul Shaw's coming to the sideline there, Warren, and I think by the indication someone might be going to the head bin.
Yes, I'm not too sure, David, exactly what's going on at the moment. As you say, Paul Shaw on the sideline. We'll have to wait and see who's injured.
Meninga's kick up over the halfway line. Ronson. And Gibbs it is who's coming off, which would seem to indicate Borton to the second row, Hasler to lock, and Shaw would probably play half, although he has played a little bit of lock before. Shearer stands, back it comes to Hasler. Hasler still going, can't get his pass away, or Kenny. He found support in Cleel. Cleel comes straight back down the centre, links up with Lyons. They've got a chance here, Manly. It goes away to Ronson. Ronson's pass, I don't know how that was. Oh, he almost picked it up. He dropped it in the end. But Williams almost had that. But they're playing with so much confidence. Gibbs into the head bin, Shaw is on. I just thought for a moment that Williams had that.
Gibbs looks very dazed. He's obviously copped a knock in the head and seems to have a slight head cut as well.
I think Ron would have copped that knock in the head when he went in for the tackle for Sam Backer just before he made the big run. It was the tackle of Rod Gibbs that he did go through, and I'm sure Ron's feeling the effects of that tackle.
Meninga kicking for the men to stand touchline. Shearer. Look at the nonchalant way he just seems to gather things in. He's got all the time in the world to do things, Dale Shearer. Usually the mark of a genius, the person who seems to do it like that. And Noel Cleel walking back into position. I don't think he's the only forward out there, though, feeling the pinch. Vorton's got that away, and now Lyons has mucked it up. And I dare say on a hot day like this, the sweat must be starting to get under the hands. I know there's Cliff Lyons wiping the ball there. You notice this again, as Vorton got the pass away and Lyons lost it. With it being so hot, I dare say the sweat on the palms of the hands might even be the reason for them dropping the ball.
There's the error count, and look at the missed tackles against Canberra, 23 to Manly's 5. Well, they really have missed a few in defence, and that's cost them, as Manly have been able to open them up. It was only just under 4 minutes till half-time. It's a vital period as the players do get tired and breaks are being made, so both teams' defence is going to have to hold tight.
Certainly the ball will be very slippery out there. I don't think you can find a dry jersey amongst them. The sweat will be just coming off them profusely.
Canberra take it down the centre through Gilbert. Runs into Ward and Hasler. Midway half and quarter line inside Manly's territory. Henjack, Backo, Henjack. Away it comes now. O'Sullivan's pass comes to Corkery. Fourth tackle against Canberra. O'Sullivan, blindside. It's away now to Jackson. Jackson held up only 18 metres out. Now the last tackle against Canberra. O'Sullivan gets it. O'Sullivan puts the kick up. Now it's coming down just outside the goalpost. Cochrane goes higher, and he's got it in the end. How did he get it? I don't know. But another fabulous take as he's come to the ground. And I think when he hit the ground, he's obviously hit the boot. As you see him now, he comes to the ground. He hits the ground very heavily, much the same time as he comes, and you see him accidentally get the knee from Ashley Gilbert there. Completely accidental. The referee says play on. Someone else played the ball, and now Cochrane's receiving attention in the back play, and a call. Shaw, look at him go. He's got an incredible turn of speed. Davis backing him up back to the halfway line. Taking it down the centre now is Ward, and Ward's still going. He's having a huge game too, isn't he? 2 minutes to go in the first half. It comes away now to Shearer, and Shearer puts the kick in. It's coming down towards the in-goal area. Getting back there is Belcher. Belcher gets it. A good bit of shepherding there done by Corkery on Shearer too to give Belcher a bit of room. Quite legal. Nothing really illegal about it.
Well,
just good thinking.
This will certainly take the pressure off Canberra. They've sustained a lot of pressure from Manly. They've got the opportunity to run out the 6 tackles and probably go in to half-time, just these few points behind.
So less than 2 minutes to go in the first half, and Manly are leading by 6 points to 0. Cliff Lyons scored the try, converted by Michael O'Connor. Notice that Cochrane's in the back play, back towards fullback, still receiving some attention. The kick is going to be intercepted though in the end by Shearer. He never ceases to amaze you when he's got his confidence up, does he?
No, never. He's a man with a lot of confidence, and a player with great ball skills, and he's just showing just how good he is out there.
There's Darryl Williams. Haven't seen much of him yet, but he hasn't had many opportunities, and Shaw's knocked that on just inside Manly's territory. 1 minute left in the first half. And there's Matthew Corkery coming back out towards the Rawongle stand touchline.
Manly will certainly have to settle themselves down at this stage. They're playing the better football, they're playing with a lot of confidence, but they just aren't getting the points on the board. At vital times, these drop passes, they're just going to have to settle themselves down, and I'm sure Bob Fulton will settle them down once they get back into the sheds.
Well, that was bad football from Canberra. They had that. It was towed through in the end, and now the linking from Shaw to Ronson. Ronson back on the inside. 30 seconds left in the first half. They had that one, but they tried to fiddle around a bit too much, I think. As it comes away to Shearer, the long pass comes away now to Lyons. A lot of these players are walking. It's very hot, and they're starting to feel the effects of it. And Lyons is wrapped up with just 20 seconds to go in the first half. That's the cricket pitch. Look how hard that is. Hasler decides to go from dummy half. He realises that it's that close to half-time. He might as well try something out on this side of the field. Stands, it comes to Cleel. Cleel's very tired, but he's got a crosser. He's done a mountain of work in this half as they keep it alive through Hasler. Back it comes now. O'Connor was thinking about the field goal, I thought, for a second. The siren's gone for half-time as it comes to Lyons. Lyons, can he get out of it? He's got it away to Shearer. Shearer's pass to Ronson, look forward. The infield kick from Ronson. Getting back there, Kinner saves the day for Canberra. And right on half-time, some brilliant football from Manly is ended by some great covering there by Canberra. And as the two teams go in at Lemons, Manly lead in the 87 grand final 6-0. Well, there's Paul Vorton coming from the field at half-time.
At Warren, one gets the feeling as they troop past you might get an indication of who seems to be the more weary of the two sides, but you got the feeling that Manly were by far the better side, but yet Canberra hung in there, and they're still in this game to only be down by 6 points to 0.
There's no doubt about that. 6 points is nothing in this grand final, and both teams leaving the field look very weary. Plenty of blokes taking the deep breaths and the sweat pouring out of all of them on both sides. I don't think either side is feeling any better as a result of this first half. But Manly's kicking game was pinning Canberra down for a while, and then they were applying the pressure. A couple of moments of bad luck for Canberra with losing the ball, and Manly applying that pressure, and Canberra just couldn't get away. And that one try going to Cliff Lyons from the repeated pressure, just Manly pouring it on, and Canberra had to finally break. And really that was the one major, well, it's the only try in the half, and there wasn't much more in it because both sides did make breaks in the tremendous defence from both teams.
Well, quite incredibly, that first half finished up with only one try being scored in it, and yet we went so close to so many being scored. What do you think they can do to try and contain Cliff Lyons?
Well, that's the point. Cliff Lyons seems to be running wide of the rucks. He's skirting wide, and there seems to be a lack of combination in the centres. Mal Meninga has been run around a couple of times by Cliff Lyons. And I just wonder whether Mal is fit enough to get off the mark quickly against a bloke like Cliff Lyons. But that seems to be where the danger is at the moment. Remember earlier in the half, the ball got out to Davis, and he ran down the wing a couple of times. And they have been causing a bit of confusion in the Canberra backline defence.
So there we are, half-time. Manly leading Canberra by 6 points to 0. And Cliff Lyons, the try scorer, Michael O'Connor converting that try. I almost got the feeling right on half-time he was thinking about the field goal. O'Connor, he seemed to get himself set, saw the opportunity out wide, and we saw just how close Manly went to scoring that try. And let's go down to the Queanbeyan Leagues Club and see what it's like down there. They're trailing by 6 points, but they must still be smiling because they know that they've still got a big chance to bring the Winfield Cup home to Queanbeyan and Canberra tonight. Let's go down there. Peter Longman.
Well, even though the Raiders are down 6 points to 0, still plenty of noise. Down here with me is Carl Langton, a former St George first grader, but now a Raiders fan.
Right, Peter.
What do you think of the first half?
I thought it was a good, hard game. The Raiders surprised me that they held Manly for so long. I think Raiders are starting to tire. The forward started to tire badly in the last 10 minutes, but I still think if they can get up, tackle, more tackling, save the man, get up quicker to the Manly backs, save them running, I think they've still got a chance.
You've played in the St George premiership side back in the 50s. 49.
Yeah.
Do you think the Canberra side is good enough to win a premiership?
I think so, yeah. Maybe not this year, but I'm hoping anyhow. But they've got a chance if they can eliminate their mistakes and their tackling. They've got to tackle a little bit more, which they're missing. They haven't made a lot of mistakes other than the tackling. No, I think they've got a good chance, personally.
What's it been like down here this week?
Oh, great. Really great. Yeah, better than when I was with St George. That was the atmosphere down here, all over Canberra, Queanbeyan, has really been terrific, you know. Really good, yes.
Thanks very much.
Yes.
Let's hope the Raiders can get up in the second half.
I hope so, Peter, yes. We'll be barracking from here.
Well, back to you, Dave, at the SCG.
Okay, Peter Longman down there at the Queanbeyan Leagues Club, and what a day it's been down there, and what a night it's going to be. How would you like to be down there for breakfast tomorrow if they win?
Not knowing that I was an Eastern Suburbs player, I wouldn't like to be down there, but I'm sure that if they do win this game, it'll be a boost for the rugby league, and down in Canberra, it'll be one hell of a party.
What did you think of the first half? What did you think Canberra have got to do? I mean, looking at it, we both agreed really that Manly were all over them, and yet they only got the one try on the board.
Well, that's right. Manly have to settle themselves down. They're trying too much too early in their tackle counts. Canberra, on the other hand, have to stop Cliff Lyons. He's making too much of his own game. It's as if he's playing touch out there. They've got to go and make him play. They've got to stop him from throwing the ball around. And he's the one player that they will have to stop if they're going to have any chance of getting back into this game. They've got to settle themselves down also. Out there, the heat's starting to have a bit of effect on them. They're slow, some of them with their hands on their hips. They've got to get down. They've got to chase their kicks. They've got to keep Manly under pressure. But once their kicks are down there, they've got to kick them away from Dale Shearer. You just can't give them any room to move at all.
Okay, well, while the Canberra Raiders fans are still hopeful that they can get back the deficit, they're down 6-0 at half-time. I dare say the disappointment of losing the reserve grade grand final has now been washed away with the Sea Eagles leading at half-time in first grade 6-0. So let's go up to Brookvale, and here's Peter Wilkins at the Manly Leagues Club.
Well, it's almost the calm before the storm here at half-time, but there has been a few uprisings in the first half. How's it there? Yes, that is the scene here at Manly. We've got a long-time supporter of the club, Keith Watkins. Keith, you've been a member for more than 20 years. What are your thoughts of the first half?
Great day, Peter. A best lead up to the game that I've ever seen in my life, and a great game made by both teams. And I only hope that Manly will win the game, and good luck to them.
Well, you've been a member at this club for 20 years, but you've come down from Newcastle today, have you?
That's right, Peter. To support the club and to support the players.
Well, what did you think of the first half there? A couple of chances for Manly, but they're only leading 6-0.
That's right, and I hope they go on to lead 12-0. But good luck to both games. Canberra are playing very well, but I've got to support my own team, Peter, and that's Manly. Great.
Good luck, Keith.
Thanks, Peter.
I did happen to see a Canberra supporter around here earlier on, but I think he's gone missing. Let's just go over to this table here and... yeah, there was a Canberra supporter. What do you think?
He's just there. We'll kill him later. He's dead meat.
The only one in the club.
What do you think of the game so far?
Brilliant. It's all been Manly. They should have scored 5 tries so far.
5 tries?
But Canberra were unlucky not to score 1. But without 5, the one's the indication of this game.
What, a bit of an edge in class, do you think?
Oh, definitely. We're going to kill them in the second half for sure.
What do you think the final score's going to be?
About 20, 16.
16?
Yeah, 20 to 16.
All right, let's hear it for Manly, eh? Okay, the place is set to vibrate in the second half. We're looking at a pretty big crowd here, as you can see, but they're going to rock the place if Manly go in again, and it looks certainly as though they could. Back to you, David.
Thanks very much, Peter Wilkins up there at Brookvale at the Manly Leagues Club. Well, undoubtedly, Manly were the better side in the first half. They went close to scoring a few times. Gary Belcher, 2 magnificent try-saving tackles. And, of course, we did see Canberra go close once when Shearer managed to be too strong for Mal Meninga. Let's go down and have a look, let's have a look at some of those opportunities in the first half. First of all, we saw this particular performance from Manly when the ball came across to Shearer, and Shearer decided to put the kick in over the top. Now, look at the speed of Shearer as the ball bounces in the in-goal area, and the great football here from the second rower, Gary Coyne. Now, Shearer is very fleet of foot, but look at Coyne. Good thinking, got back there, volleyboard it dead, and so in the end, that opportunity went out the window. But those 2 magnificent tackles from Belcher, saved tries, but then it was a missed tackle that saw Cliff Lyons go in and score the only try so far of the match. And here he is, as he comes to O'Sullivan, he palms him off, an incredibly strong fend. He comes to Belcher on the inside of Belcher. Coyne can't stop him. The ball's put down, and so the try is scored. And at that stage, they were leading by 4 points to 0. And then, of course, O'Connor, he converted that try, and so Manly were leading by 6 points to 0. But of course, Manly had more opportunities, and it was Cliff Lyons who was just continuing to cut the Canberra side to ribbons. And this is again another one, the dummy. O'Connor went one way, so did the Canberra defence. So look at Lyons go. He's gone straight through this gap. He gets down within about 15 metres of the line, lets everyone run past him, back on the inside, and then as he tried to flick it away to O'Connor, O'Connor knocks the ball to the ground, and quite incredibly, I think that O'Connor thought that Lyons was going to continue on and was expecting the pass, and Lyons at that stage could have gone very close to scoring on his own. So they've had their opportunities, but alas, as far as Manly fans are concerned, they are still leading by 6 points to 0. But Canberra just had that one opportunity, and it was great defence that nipped it in the bud. And then, of course, we saw Bacco make that great run when Des Hasler finished him off in defence. But one feels that the defence of Manly certainly has been better than Canberra's in the first half.
Much better than Canberra's. Statistics show that, and I'm sure that Canberra will come back out with their defensive line in order. But Manly, you can't take it away from Manly. They're playing tremendous football. They've had the more opportunities. They just have to settle themselves down, as we said earlier. But Canberra are a side that you cannot take for granted. You know, they're not out. They certainly are only 6 points behind. but they've still got to pick their game up tremendously if they're going to have any chance of trying to break Manly. Paul Borton's showing them the way in, as far as their attack goes, along with Des Hasler. He's having a big game. And it's just unfortunate that it's a little quiet by the rest of the players on the side. Daryl Williams, we haven't seen much of him yet.
But to be fair, the play really hasn't come to him, has he? I mean, every time Lyons has got the ball, he's thrown dummies galore. They've all been sucked in, and really O'Connor backed him up once, and Stuart Davis, he cut out Williams twice to send Davis on long runs. But sometimes he's just been the bunny that's had the pass run in front of him, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just unfortunate it's gone that way, and I'm sure that we'll see a lot more of these players in the second half, especially when the forwards really start to tire. You're going to see a lot more of the backs coming in, and we'll see an open game all round.
Well, when do you think that someone like Fulton will start to ring the replacements? I mean, he's got Pocock, who's fresh. He's obviously got all of those reserve grade forwards they've been finished now for 2 hours since they had the reserve grade grand final, so they should be very fresh, a shower and a rub. When do you think he'll start bringing in the players like the Cunninghams and players like that, or do you think he'll just continue on while he's in front? He won't replace anyone.
Well, I think only once the guys really start to feel the pinch, either injuries or very late in the second half. But we'll have to see how Ryan Gibbs shapes up after the knock he's had in the head. But as Ryan in previous times, will always come back out in the field and try to finish the game for his club.
The way Paul Shaw went, though, when he came out, he certainly cut them to ribbons once too. We might get a chance to have a look at the incredible look at the ground at the moment, as you see most of the fans still packed into the ground, and the helicopter, of course, high up above the Sydney cricket ground. And then, as you see to the left of the picture, the emergence of the new ground, the Sydney Football Stadium. And on March the 5th, we will see the first ever rugby league game played on that ground, when Hugh McGahan's Roosters will take on Craig Young's St George Dragons. And I dare say you'll be looking forward to that day with a lot of relish too. First game next year.
Very much so. We're very disappointed in the way we ended the season, but we're very much looking forward to the way we're going to start next year. This stadium is tremendous. It's coming along week after week. We drive past, see the amount of progress that's going on, and it's a big boost for the Eastern Suburbs area and the supporters of Eastern Suburbs, and all the guys in the club are very much looking forward to playing on the stadium.
What sort of boost do you think it will be that East will have it as their home ground to try and make sure that you play the first grand final there?
Well, we're looking very much forward to that. We're going to put in a lot of work over the off-season. To play there is a tremendous boost, but of course to play a grand final, a very first grand final on that stadium, will lift the guys' confidence. It'll lift the area in the Eastern Suburbs up to great heights, and I'm sure that the way we played this year, all we have to do is win a couple more games, and we'll certainly be there in the grand final next year. But there's still a long, very long road towards that.
And there we are, high above the ground is the ABC helicopter, and Henry Scheidlow up there with Gary Ticehurst. And I can tell you, Henry's been going since about 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm glad I'm not up there now with that window open. I mean, I wore the brown trousers today to make sure that my first ever trip in a helicopter wouldn't show up any stains, but I can assure you that in the end it was quite an exciting experience. But I don't think I'll be up there like that now, half hanging out of one. But it's been an interesting game of football, and the lower grades today were interesting. And the point about the lower grades is that the teams that did tire in the second half were the two teams that played last week. Souths against St George in under-23s, and then we saw Manly tire against Penrith in the reserves, and quite the opposite to what we thought might happen in the second half in first grade.
Well, that's right, and it's something that might happen again out here today. We found last week the sides that had played the previous week tired also. Now that I know we felt a little flat out there after our game against Manly, and that certainly showed in the way we performed against Canberra. Now the sides who've had the hard games probably are starting to show the effects of it by, the two previous games, they come away losers. So those who went straight into the grand final were benefited by the 2-week break.
Well, we're about to see the teams come back onto the field now for the second half of the Winfield Cup, and Manly, of course, buoyed by the 6-0 lead. Can they stay there?
I'm sure they can. If they, as I said, get their act together, settle themselves down, just put the ball over the line, which is virtually what they haven't done here. They've got over the line numerous times, but just haven't been able to be in the right position at the right time. They've got their defence in order. They've got very good backups in their reserve grade. Canberra, the guys with the job at hand, but I'm sure with the way that Canberra has been performing, that they have got the ability, they've got the players, certainly got the coaches and they certainly have got the support also to put them over the goal line.
Let's go and have a look at another one of the highlights from the first half, and it was that big run made by Sam Bacco. And you'll notice him get the ball here, and he starts off towards the cricket ground. Now, a little prop, gets away from Gibbs. Now, that's where Gibbs knocked himself out. And look at him when he starts to get up a full head of steam. He starts to sprint away from Daly, and look at Desi Hasler. He's like a caged lion, Des Hasler. He mightn't be that big, but my word, when he hits you, you stay hit. And he's probably one of the fittest men in the game. The incredible thing about him is he's built of steel, isn't he? I mean, he's so fit, you hit him and it's like hitting a steel rod.
For a very small man, he's very, very strong, and I wasn't surprised to see Des come up with a tackle like that. He's pulled off numerous tackles like that through the air and through his career, and I'm sure any person who breaks that line will have Des Hasler to confront, and certainly isn't an inviting invitation.
One of the funniest things about this break at half-time, we've now gone, what, about, I'd say almost 12 minutes. Is that going to favour either of the sides, or are they fairly thankful that it's still going on?
No, it'll favour both sides, and they'll want a longer rest as they can possibly have. And 15 minutes certainly is a good time for them to get there or recuperate any air that they'll be looking for out in the ground, and getting some fluid into them. It certainly is hot out there. As I said, they haven't got a dry jersey on the field. The sweat will come off them profusely, and the rest is what they need, and also in order to get their game plan right, they've got to start talking, they've got to get their act together and start supporting the ball carrier.
Let's go back down to the Queanbeyan Leagues Club, and I think Peter Longman still has some smiling Raiders supporters, because I think they're still looking forward to tomorrow morning. Peter?
It certainly hasn't got any quieter here. A few more Raiders supporters. Down 6-0 at half-time. Are you worried?
No, I'm not worried. Canberra are going to do it.
How long have you been supporting the Raiders for now?
6 years.
Who do you think are the players in the Canberra side that can win the game for them?
Bacco and Meninga.
How long have you been supporting the Raiders?
Oh, about 6 years, yeah.
Who are your favourite players in the lineup?
Meninga and Bacco.
What do you think of the first half?
I was a bit sloppy. They missed a fair few tackles, but I reckon they can do it.
OK, thanks very much. Back to you, David, the SCG.
Well, thanks very much, Peter Longman there at the Queanbeyan Leagues Club. Well, this half-time segment is going on far longer than expected, just like the pre-game entertainment overran by about 10 minutes. This is overrun by about 3 or 4.